Elon Musk just made a big announcement and a commitment. He says, back to working 7 days a week and sleeping in the office if my little kids are away. So the Tesla community is happy to see this. And here's pretty big news from Elon Musk directly that was just confirmed. Your Tesla self-driving capability will see a step change improvement as we integrate upgrades for the Austin Robotaxi build into the general production release. So this reminds me a little bit of when we went from V12 to V13, I would expect that there would be some sort of similar kind of change in terms of safety or performance. So the Tesla community is certainly happy with this. Now, Elon did follow up with more details about this. We need to validate that improvements for Austin don't cause regressions elsewhere. For Europe and China, we are awaiting regulatory approval, hopefully soon. So if we can enter European markets, I'm sure that the stock would jump at least a little bit. If you remember, then the FSD announcement was first made about China. The stock went up like 15% in a single day. I'm not expecting the stock to go up that much when the European announcement is made, but I do expect it to go up at least a little bit. Keep in mind though that the announcement about China, that was a huge surprise. The announcement about Europe is not really going to be that much of a surprise, if a surprise at all. So I would certainly temper my expectations there. And then any updates on the Bay Area, so San Francisco release of Robotaxi. Elon says as soon as the regulators approve, they are being quite reasonable, to be honest. It's going to be released over there too. So it sounds like things are going very well. So I in particular like this piece of news a lot. And then Sawyer asked Elon about this post where Elon said that this year, Tesla's regular cars would receive a model that has 4 times the parameters. So you're asking me, expect this in Q3? And Elon replied with, it's looking good so far. And by the way, Q3 is right now. So that's within 2 months and like 10 days max, if that prediction for the timeline is correct. Tesla stock investors are definitely reacting in a bullish way to all of this news, so that's good. I mean, who could have possibly expected the California regulators to actually be reasonable? This is quite a surprise. And then there's some good news here. Bank of America has raised its Tesla price target to $341, up from $305. On a more positive note, Tesla did start its Robotaxi service in Austin, which gives the firm more confidence on the promise to deliver unsupervised FSD by the end of 2025. So Bank of America is not calling current Tesla FSD in Austin unsupervised, which I personally think it's actually fair because you still have the safety passenger, but it's like supervised by a passenger that sits on the other side of the vehicle. So the current Tesla FSD in Austin and Robotaxis, I would call it sort of supervised, but not actually really. Then we got the Wall Street firm Cantor Fitzgerald reiterating its $355 price target and overweight rating on Tesla shares in a note today. And they do believe that Tesla will capture a significant share of the autonomous driving and ride-sharing industries. I mean, to anyone that really thinks about this, it's so obvious that Tesla is just going to dominate this market, at least in North America. And the reason why it wouldn't dominate, let's say, in China is because maybe the Chinese government wouldn't want it to dominate it. That's basically the only reason I think would actually make sense why Tesla would not just take over that market too. And then Piper Sandler, and when it comes to Wall Street and Tesla, Piper Sandler does have more credibility than most of these other firms because Piper Sandler has made some good calls over the years with Tesla. And they say that Tesla regulatory credit risks are overstated. And so Piper Sandler reiterated its overweight rating and a $400 price target for the next 12 months, saying regulatory credit concerns are overblown. While Tesla received $3.5 billion in credits last year, equal to its free cash flow, the firm expects $3 billion in 2025 and $2.3 billion in 2026, a modest decline. Despite U.S. plans to reduce EV incentives, Piper Sandler sees no need for major estimate changes. And I personally, because I know when Elon Musk sees a crisis, that's when he's the most productive, that's when he's the most inventive, that's when he's the most innovative. And with Elon Musk still clearly paying a lot of attention to Tesla and him working or back to working 7 days a week, a lot of that time spent working, of course, is going to be allocated to Tesla as well. And clearly, Currently, with all of his posts about Tesla, he is leading Tesla. And if you like Elon Musk being focused on Tesla, make sure to click that like button right now. Here's another new post from Elon Musk that's certainly bullish for us Tesla stock investors. He says, I resisted AI for too long, living in denial. Now it is game on. And then he tags XAI, then Tesla, and then SpaceX. And so I have a question for everyone. Why do you think Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, would tag Tesla in a post like that? Could it be because he is very bullish on Tesla's FSD progress and the AI deployment of FSD, basically, which is basically, I consider FSD AI. I think he tagged Tesla in this post because he thinks that FSD progress is going relatively well and the feature is really good for Tesla. And obviously, because this comes in a series of posts together with that other post where Elon Musk is going back to work 24/7. This to me is very bullish. Now, in this last post, Elon quoted this post. NVIDIA's CEO said, Elon is a superhuman. It's just unbelievable. This is a major praise from the NVIDIA CEO. He said, just to put it in perspective, a supercomputer that you would build would take normally 3 years to plan and then deliver the equipment. It takes 1 year to get it all working. We are talking about 19 days. He's talking about Elon and XAI building it. This is a couple weeks. I mean, that is like superhuman. There's only one person in the world who can do that, and that is Elon Musk. Elon is singular in this understanding of engineering and construction. It's just unbelievable. And we know that Elon is going to build an even bigger supercomputer with XAI. I mean, right now, currently XAI has the biggest one, but now it's going to be even much bigger than that. But interestingly, Elon does accomplish some huge things even without AI. For example, SpaceX got Starship's booster without the help of AI. So not bad, said Elon Musk, for humans. This post here started a bit of a discussion between Tesla stock investors. At what point does FSD become level 3 for just regular everyday users? Meaning in certain conditions, we don't need to pay attention. Someone says, I guess it's already level 3. Because technically in certain situations, I already don't pay attention. That's not good. Make sure to pay attention. But in a way, I can certainly see how that's true because it does take, a little bit of time before Tesla's system kicks in telling you to pay attention, like the nag and the beeping and all that. Omar Jemson saying, when I disable the nag on the highway in traffic jams, you could consider it level 3. Now, some people interestingly are saying that the nag, the eye tracking for FSD is actually still too strict. For me personally, I never have an issue with a nag, but keep in mind that I've been driving earlier a lot on V12, and V12, the nag was a lot more than the current version, and I was mostly okay with that anyway. And then there's also a comment here. I'm also wondering what specifically we will see improved with this new update that Elon Musk is talking about, as the latest FSD version publicly available is already so good. Definitely emergency vehicles handled well, maybe school buses, although it's summer, so Robotaxi doesn't have to do that yet. Better backup ability in different situations, anything else you can think of? Oh, for me, I can definitely think of quite a few things actually. So currently I am driving a new Model Y, latest hardware and everything else, and the latest FSD update that's publicly available. And I find that the current FSD update is, for me personally, in my situations where I drive, is certainly a little bit worse than the previous update before that one. And really the only thing that's worse for me is that the following distance on a highway specifically is too close for my comfort. Before this previous update, I was able to go for about a whole week driving almost 1,000 miles or something like that, not a single takeover. On this update, I've been driving for the last now 2 weeks or maybe a bit longer, and I've had multiple takeovers. Now, personally, I don't think that in any one of those, I would have had a crash. However, if I'm going 65 miles an hour on a highway, if the car in front of me starts braking and slows down rather suddenly, I do not want my distance between that car after I slow down to be about like this much, which in some situations, that's certainly what I thought it would have been. Like in the best case scenario, in a more likely case scenario, the distance probably would have been like this much if the car in front of me just slowed down a lot. That's my only complaint right now. Before this last update, everything was basically perfect with some comfort preferences that, I would prefer some things to be a little bit different, but nothing that I can think of in terms of safety. No, but clearly, definitely not everyone has the same experience as I do, and perhaps I'm even in the minority. I wish Tesla brought back the setting where I can increase or decrease the following distance between cars. That's the only thing that I want to change. And another thing I need to point out is, if I knew that the software is actually safer than human driving for sure already, then I wouldn't be really worried or thinking, I'm not comfortable with this following distance. I need more distance here. But because I know it's still not safer than human driving, I want that distance to be at least as short as I would normally have it when I drive. And just to be clear, when I drive in a city, it's perfect. The following distance is perfect. It's only when I go on the highway and I drive, at 65 miles an hour. And I'm talking 6 lanes of traffic, lots of cars. Another thing that I noticed, though, is when I look at the screen of my Tesla, the following distance that appears on the screen, that actually looks like a comfortable distance, but then I look at the actual road and these two don't quite feel the same to me, not at all. When I look at the road, the following distance appears much, much shorter than what impression I get from looking at the screen, at the FSD visualization. Now, if you haven't been following Tesla and each and every update from Tesla for FSD, you do need to keep in mind that this is pretty common, where Tesla releases a huge new update and then everything gets better. And then with some updates, actually, we do have some regressions. So this is nothing unusual. I'm sure some people are having a better experience, just where I drive at least. For some reason, the following distance has changed. Now, if I switch from standard to the chill mode, it's a little bit better, but it's still a bit too close. And I think the main reason why it's too close on the chill mode is not so much that the actual distance is too short. I think in the chill mode, the following distance is actually okay. But if the car in front of me starts braking, or especially if the second car in front of me starts braking, meaning I know that the car in front of me will also brake, it waits for the car in front of me to start braking before my car starts braking, but it doesn't brake nowhere near as fast as the car in front of me. It really shortens that following distance. And that's where I get uncomfortable. So the car either needs to brake a bit sooner and faster, or have a longer following distance, or give me a choice to increase the following distance. But one reason why I barely use the chill mode, at least on highways, is because when I drive on a 5 or 6 lane highway, I never want to be on like the rightmost lane. I'm usually on the second leftmost lane, and the standard mode usually keeps me on that lane. But if I switch to the chill mode, then it's going to take me to the rightmost lane. And I really don't like driving on that lane, because that's where all the heavy vehicles are, the semis and the 18-wheelers. So if I put the vehicle in the chill mode, it definitely does not feel chill driving behind an 18-wheeler carrying 10 cars on the trailer with all of them moving. I'm pretty sure they're all secured, but I don't want to take my chances. And currently, there are no minimal lane changes option anymore, so I would really like Tesla to bring that back. If that was an option, I would almost choose the minimal lane changes option when I'm on the highway, and I would probably put the car in the chill mode, and that would address most of my complaints. And then if you could have the setting to increase the following distance, that would be wonderful. If I could have all of these options, currently for me, FSD would basically be close to perfect. Like in terms of safety, and speaking in terms of safety, in terms of comfort, there are a few other occasionally annoying things, but I'm okay dealing with those. Probably the single most annoying thing for comfort is when there is a, let's say, a 4-way stop sign. I've had this experience quite a few times. There are no cars anywhere, and my car comes in front of a stop sign, stops, then goes a little bit, stops, then goes a little bit, stops, goes a little bit, stops, and then it finally goes. And keep in mind, the weather is good, and there's no one around me. I can clearly see far in the distance in all directions. There are no cars. There's definitely no threats of any kind from any direction. I'm the only car in the intersection, not only in the intersection or close to it. Like, there are no cars even as far as I can see in any direction. And it still does that. So that's probably the most annoying thing, but it doesn't do it all the time. It just does it I don't know, like the 3 stops, that's probably 1 out of 10 stops, but a double stop is probably, for me personally, like at least 60% of the time, 70% of the time. So maybe about 20% at the time or 15% of the time, if I have like a 4-way stop sign, my car will only come to a full stop and then immediately start going after that if it's good to go. However, I find that the vehicle handles the situation very well if there are other cars on the other side where they have to go or I have to go first before them. If there are other cars somehow, it does it well. But if I'm the only car on the intersection, that's where the annoying double or even triple stops come in. But to me personally, it's actually not a big deal because I know the issue is there. So the moment I come to a full stop, I just immediately press on the accelerator pedal and I just go. I don't wait for the car to do the double or the triple stop. And then there's a rumor. Keep in mind, this is just a rumor, but there's a little bit of credibility behind this rumor. According to internal information, supposedly, Robotaxi team is working overtime to expand coverage to the entire city of Austin in weeks. And we definitely know that Tesla is working very actively on expanding the geofenced area in Austin, Texas, because we keep seeing these vehicles that are validating these other areas in Austin. Now, this one is not that far away from the current area, but we have seen a few that are pretty far away. Like here, look at this one. This is really far. I think it was probably like an hour of driving, maybe even more. Depends on the traffic, but this is definitely not like a 10-minute stroll. This is quite a ride from the current geofenced area. So this is huge news. And so Farzad says, this is precisely the type of expansion Tesla needs to do with Robotaxi to really showcase why their approach is so superior. Teslas with FSD have been driving through marble falls for years. Now they need to validate that it can do so without a driver behind the wheel. And then check this out. Tesla is recruiting autopilot test engineer in Phoenix, Arizona. Tesla says collaborative capabilities are critical for fast FSD development, and with the mass production of Robotaxi just around the corner, it's an important time to join the team. So I think the regulatory issues and tasks are being addressed pretty well in the Phoenix area for Tesla, and we should perhaps relatively soon see Tesla's expansion in the Phoenix area as well, which would be quite bullish for Tesla. And then seemingly there is a really nice update that was just deployed. Robotaxis no longer strictly navigate to the pickup point. I noticed it stops right where I am if I am ahead at the pickup point. And currently it's certainly one of Waymo's major weak points. Nothing worse than seeing that thing drive right past where you're waiting. And Elon actually just confirmed that, indeed, Tesla's Model Y Robotaxis now adapt and pick you up right where you are located rather than automatically going to the pickup point on the map every time. This is definitely more convenient for the rider. So all the little things like this, Tesla has worked on those so well, and so many things have been improved and many issues addressed with the app and everything. Oh, and wait, what's this? From a departing employee, Robotaxis will scale fast. So he says, Friday was my last day at Tesla. Grateful for everyone. Super proud to have contributed to the Robotaxi launch. Robotaxis will scale fast. Okay. So this is overall. I mean, he does have a track record of working at multiple companies, so you wouldn't expect someone like that to stay at one company forever. Usually, when someone leaves, I say it's not a good thing. Certainly not. But in this case, I definitely don't see it just as a negative, and there's definitely quite a positive takeaway to be found from this post that he made. Usually, if one leaves a company and that person doesn't believe in the product the company is working on, usually you say nothing because you do not want to be in a track record saying that this thing is good or that it is going to be very good or that it is going to be very good very fast. You definitely don't want to say that. Oh, and check this out. This post that I'm about to read is liked by Elon Musk. I have a feeling after seeing where Tesla is currently validating the next geofence expansion is going to eat Waymo's for breakfast. The Robotaxi race has begun. So this is basically an official confirmation directly from Elon Musk that indeed Tesla is about to expand the current geofenced area by a lot. So huge news here. And this is actually a pretty good post. Same can be said about a lot of things Tesla. If only people outside of the X echo chamber knew about it. I just drove from Montreal to Toronto and back this weekend. Which, by the way, back and forth, that's going to be an 11-hour drive, and the car did 99% of the driving. It's magical, and I will never buy a car that cannot drive itself. And then check this out, but I'm still seeing 70-year-old people walk into Lexus dealerships and buy $70,000 cars that limit their mobility. They won't drive at night or in traffic or in bad weather because their skills are declining with age. But how can you blame them? They literally have no clue there is a car on the market that can drive for them. And then just another observation with my hardware 4 Tesla Model Y. Driving with that car, even on a 6-lane highway, even if everyone's going super fast and cutting everyone off, the stress is just completely removed from the whole driving experience. What before would have been an hour of sitting on the edge, just checking for when am I going to be cut off at any moment now. That whole stressful experience is now replaced with, that was a nice podcast. And yes, there were 2 crazy people that cut me off, but FSD saw it and it slowed down. Although currently it does come a bit too close for my liking and comfort to the car in front of me. But my car actually does start braking. It just sometimes it doesn't brake as fast as I would. So that's when usually I take over. And even with the current settings of how Tesla FSD works in my car, even with all of that, I never dread driving anymore. Whereas before, if someone invites me to go someplace fun an hour away through rush hour traffic, I would say, how about next time? Whereas now I say, okay, sure, let's go. Tesla China just announced that 3 million Model 3 units have been sold worldwide. And now here's to the next 3 million. The Tesla Model 3 launched in 2017. And that's 1 Model 3 sold on average every 73 seconds. Pretty good. Omar calls it the best car ever. I would say the new Model Y. Well, it depends on exactly where you drive and how you drive, but I think for most people, the Tesla Model Y is better. So let's call the Tesla Model 3 the second best car. Overall in the US, I'm definitely taking the Model Y. In Canada, maybe the Model 3 actually. Check this out. Meet Kevin says, I feel that daddy's coming back to Tesla. Very excited. Oh, also, this is happening. Elon says this will become normal in a few years. This is Optimus serving popcorn. And it's actually doing a good job here. Elon posted that they had a soft opening for first responders at the Tesla diner in LA. So the diner is now open. And then Deutsche Bank expects Tesla to release the Model Q this year. So a smaller Model Y, basically. They expect 25,000 units produced in Q4. Now about the diner, Elon says, if our retro futuristic diner turns out well, which I think it will, Tesla will establish these in major cities around the world, as well as at supercharger sites on long distance routes. An island of good food, good vibes, and entertainment, all while supercharging. And if you pay attention here, there's basically a movie playing and you can tune in with your Tesla speakers from inside of your Tesla vehicle and watch this basically on the big screen while you hear everything through your Tesla speakers inside your vehicle. So that was like a soft launch, but today, Monday, it's actually open to the whole public now as well. Oh, and this is cool too. You will be able to order food directly from the screen inside your Tesla. You can get burgers, fries, chicken wings, hot dogs, hand-spun milkshake, sandwiches, and more. And that Tesla bot, that was from the Tesla diner. So I wonder, will they have Tesla bots in every single diner then if they open them? Probably yes. However, Tesla diner will require an entry code, so it will probably be just for Tesla drivers only, at least for now. And here's what the inside of the Tesla diner looks like. Oh, and Tesla's new diner serves their sandwiches and burgers in a little paper Cybertruck box. Okay, well that's a pretty nice touch. Tesla Diner app appears in your Tesla once you connect to the diner's Wi-Fi. So that's how it works. Oh, and the center touchscreen also syncs to the movie projection screens as well. So if you park like that, you can actually still enjoy watching the movie on your screen. Oh, and the Tesla Diner is actually coming to Starbase in Texas too. Oh, and check this out. The bathroom at Tesla's new diner looks really cool. The ceiling has a window looking down on Earth as if you were in a spacecraft. I like it. It's been like forever since Elon last commented on the Tesla Semi, but that forever ends today. Tesla Semi factory progress, Elon posts here, and we can see from a video that the progress is definitely being made here at the factory. Yeah, we're finally seeing the inside of the factory here. Oh, okay. All right. That's all good to see. Now they're still building it out, but clearly the progress is being made. And then the video shows what later eventually it's going to look like when it's all fully finished and done. So currently the Semi factory has a stamping shop, and they're also saying we start installing tools in powder, coat, and material conveyance shops. And then here are the updated valuations of Elon Musk's companies based on publicly available info. So Tesla is at over 1 trillion, SpaceX 400 billion, XAI 170 to 200 billion, Neuralink 9 billion, and the Boring Company 7 billion. So Elon Musk currently has 5 companies, each which are at least at over $1 billion in valuation. So think about this. If Elon lost 4 companies completely, as long as he has one of them at least, he would still be a billionaire, even if he lost everything else, like completely, totally everything else. You also might see Elon Musk partnering with Apple, actually. He says interesting idea to Gavin Baker on why a potential XAI plus Apple partnership makes sense. On the internet, distribution wins championships. He's basically saying that Apple has a lot of distribution, and Grok 4, well, it might benefit from that. But Grok has X, so I'm not quite sure about that, but certainly an interesting idea. Oh wow, what a shocker is this news. No one possibly could have seen it coming, and I certainly didn't question any of these. If you remember, I did report on possible inflation of sales and how they were actually doing it. And now we are actually seeing this happen. So the Chinese EV brand Zeekr inflated sales in recent years to hit aggressive targets. The company arranged for cars to be insured before they were sold to buyers, documents show, enabling them under Chinese industry car registration practices to book sales early so they could hit the monthly and quarterly targets, the dealers and buyers said. At least 65,000 almost cars through this method were basically registered during this period of time of about 1 year. And you know what? That was more than half the sales of 117,000 vehicles it reported over the 15 months. This is insane. Meta offered more than 10 of OpenAI's researchers pay packages of 300 million over 4 years, including 100 million in the first year. Indeed, the AI talent war is super crazy. For me as a long-term Tesla stock investor, there was definitely quite a bit of good news over the weekend. And I believe the Tesla stock is going to $1,000 per share. And then after that, well above it, my name is Matt Posius. I also post all my videos on Rumble, so feel free to follow me all over there. There's a link down below in the pinned comment for you to follow my Rumble account. Also follow me on X if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video, probably on Wednesday.